esteemed community leaders and people of Bayelsa State, the Doyiduri-led prosperity government is committed to transforming our rural communities into thriving hubs of development. We believe that every community deserves access to absolute peace and quality standard of living. To actualize this vision, we need your support and partnership. Join forces with us to improve rural infrastructure, enhance quality education, boost healthcare, and foster economic growth. Together, we can create opportunities for youth empowerment and employment, promote cultural heritage, and ensure food security and strengthen community social services. How you can support: participate in community engagement forums and collaborate with local government authorities and the Ministry of Community Development. Come, let's build a prosperous Bayelsa together. Courtesy, Honorable Alfred Belamonte Watson, Honorable Commissioner, Ministry of Community Development. The impacts of climate change are upon us, necessitating adaptation and resilient building. In Bayelsa State, the recent annual rainy season has brought severe consequences, including excessive flash floods and river flooding, causing untold hardship for residents. However, under the leadership of His Excellency Senator Doyiduri, the prosperity government has taken proactive measures to mitigate these effects. The establishment of the Directorate of Floods and Erosion Control, along with the strengthening of other related agencies such as the Bayelsa State Emergency Management Agency, demonstrates a commitment to reducing the impact of floods. To further enhance resilience, major blocked canals, river outlets, and drainage systems are being cleared, and higher grounds have been identified in all 8 local government areas to provide safe havens during floods. While the government is dedicated to ensuring the well-being of Bayelsans, residents also have...
Hello there, jolly good afternoon. Thank you for joining us on this edition of Chat with Naija Live Television, where we discuss important issues that will cause societal change with important personalities. And today we turn our attention to the environment, specifically matters of erosion. That's something we will typically complain about. You know, several communities in Bayelsa State, Obogoro, Dioma, a number of communities are rocked by this particular phenomenon. And sometimes we wonder what the causes are. Many would say that humans are part of the cause. We here in Bayelsa might be part of this cause, and a particular thing we do, certain things we do could cause this problem. Narrowing down now, there is one particular matter that's been subject of controversy. It's been all over the social media, people frowning at government for deciding to take what many say is the bold step to place a ban on its mining. It's black sand. So we discuss black sand today and the consequences it has for our environment, I mean the mining of it. My name is Henry. Ifla had mentioned that this is Chat Naija Live Television, and today we have a renowned environmentalist. He is also the head of ECAD in Bayelsa State. ECAD is the Environmental Conservation, Agricultural and Rural Development. He's also the technical advisor to the governor of Bayelsa State on environment. I mentioned a renowned environmentalist. He is Comrade Lagomero. It's good to have you. Comrade, welcome.
Yeah, thank you, Aham, for having me here for the very first time, and thank you.
Maiden appearance.
Yes,
you're welcome,
maiden appearance, and thank you for inviting me.
All right, sir, let's get right to it. Black sand. I think many persons, when you mention mining and mining of sand, they immediately come to terms with what that entails, but there is an angle to it now, or a word has been added to it: black sand mining. What exactly is the difference between black sand mining and proper mining? At the end of the day, you mine sand, no? But what's the difference between black sand mining and mining? Let's understand what black sand mining is entirely.
All right, thank you very much. You know, in terms of natural resources, when you are taking natural resources from the environment, just like gold, earth materials, they all fall within mining. Even when you are drilling, extracting oil, they are all falling within the extractive industry. Yeah. The only difference with this black sand mining is that it is on top of this, the soil, on top of the ground. You may not need to dig too far. And you know that the Bayelsa state government had placed, ban on the sand mining, sand dredging all around the state before the issue of black sand actually hit public space. And because of the indiscriminate sand dredging, which poses a danger to public property, private properties around our communities, the government deemed it fine to ensure that the mining of sand is regulated, especially when you talk about commercial mining, mining for building construction, road construction, and all of that is huge. And so unregulated mining at the end of the day will result into a situation whereby we begin to blame government. Where is the government? We will call government all sorts of names. As an activist, I know the names we used to call government. Even irresponsible government ought to act like this, ought to act like that. And so when black sand mining came into our lexicon, the government also sent out officials to go and investigate. They came back, they confirmed, and before his demise, may he so rest in peace, the former deputy governor. Unfortunately, we are looking at it as a controversial issue. It ought not to be, because black sand is now found in our environment. There is need for us to ensure that it is properly not only regulated, but ensure that at the end of the day, it does not pose danger to our communities, our environment, and also revenue loss to government and also to the communities. That's why regulation is very important. And don't forget, Bayelsa State stands a very good ground to benefit from it, if we want to go to that, because the state has the longest stretch on the Atlantic coastline, running from Brass local government area, southern Naija, and the Kirimo. No state in the Niger Delta has that type of stretch. It's only Bayelsa, and so we have a comparative advantage. And that's why, to properly regulate this, the governor has set up machineries. The relevant agencies, officers are working on it. Also, considering the fact that recently there was a victory in the courts, where the Lagos state government and the Bayelsa state government came out victorious against the federal government, trying to control everything about our marine ecosystem, waters. And the ruling was that anything on top, on the surface, belongs to the state. The state can control. And so we stand a better chance of
anything on the surface. Black sand, is it inclusive?
It definitely is on the surface.
It's on the surface?
Yes, on the surface. And when you talk about surface, the petroleum industry talk about 6 feet below, anything 6 feet below.
Okay.
Okay. So this one is above 6 feet.
Above 6
anything
feet.
Above 6 feet.
Okay.
And the governor has also asked the relevant office to study the ruling and then come up with a necessary advice for the way forward.
You mentioned Southern Naija, Karimo, and the Brass. This means that black sand can only be found around this area. And so the other local governments in Bayelsa need not concern themselves with the issue of whether there is black sand in their domain or not. Or can we, by chance, find black sand also in all these local governments?
Yes, you may, because they talk about washing off, wearing off of rocks, and then the waves bringing them to land, to the shore.
Okay, that's exactly the black sand.
Yes, but then, like you did ask, we may find it in other local governments. Because I read what Professor Adias, Teddy Adias, also scripted on it, and these are experts and researchers. He did mention about black sand in other local government, and talked about certain things. And if places like Ahoda is also talking about it, Port Harcourt is talking about it. I heard there is a factory in Ahoda dealing with black sand. So people have gone far with this, so we are just waking up, and I think we need to get it right.
But if we're discussing black sand mining, a ban on black sand mining, and we've already made a move, there are people who before now benefited from mining black sand who are now going to be unemployed as a result of this ban. Is it possible that the government will be making a move in their direction to help them with, because I mean, I don't know exactly what the government will be doing, because you can't exactly tell them to go learn a skill now, except maybe give them the enablement to open up a business or something. But is the government looking in that direction? Because unemployment breeds, what's it called now, theft and insecurity and all of those things. So maybe, so the government does not, in trying to solve one problem, cause another problem.
Yes, I think the government will not on its own go out to deny people chances of making a living, livelihood. The only thing is that an unregulated, the earlier you start with the regulation, the better. So the people who say they have been mining all those while they've been benefiting, let them also wait a little bit now for the system to be regulated. I know some are complaining, they go to logging, people say no. They go to coal fire, they say no. They come to sand mining, they say no. But we shouldn't forget that some countries do not have crude oil. They depend on their forest resources, you know, and those places, they regulate these resources that they have. And Bayelsa State need to take positive advantage of this, you know, new gold that we have found. If we hadn't named crude oil black gold, maybe it's this one that would have named black gold. Like lithium. Lithium is being mined in Kogi, Nasarawa, and some other place, Kaduna, like that. And it is called white gold because it is whitish. And they have their largest factory in the capital of Nasarawa State, Lafia. And the factory is there. It is working in the interest of both the investor and for the state. People who are working in that industry are also benefiting. So we are looking at a situation whereby the government, at the end of the day, will ensure that if investors are coming, after proper environmental impact assessment, to ensure that our environment is safe enough, then allow these people to operate within the state, manufacture whatever you want to, refine it here in the state, so that you give employment to our people, our teaming unemployed, you know, youths, and other category of persons that are qualified. That way, it will be a win-win situation. The state will benefit, the communities will benefit, and those who are employed will also benefit with the investor. Mind you, we have been shouting on top of the roof about coastal erosion. And I, for one, I have not been satisfied, because I've been in the fore, calling on the federal government, the Ecological Fund, calling on NDDC, and even the state government, because Bayelsa State is most deltaic and suffers more of the, you know, impacts when it comes to flooding, eroding our community waterfronts, river banks, then the waves eating off our communities on the coastline, right from, like you did mention, Ojiama, Congo, Sangana, Brass, Opoma, you go to up to, you know, from Ekeni, Eze, to up to Bilabiri. And so, we have been shouting and we've not been seeing the type of response that we ought ordinarily to get. And should we now allow people to exacerbate or increase those things that we have been saying is affecting the communities?
Now, comrade, this is exactly the reason many persons are concerned. We know we struggle from coastal erosions. We struggle from erosion, quite all right. But is erosion the only reason government is deciding to place a ban on black sand mining? Put differently, is black sand mining the entire cause of erosion in our communities, in Odioma, Afropa, and all of the communities you mentioned, can we point to black sand mining as the ultimate cost, as the only cost? Or if we were to rate the causes rather of black sand mining, would we, of rather erosion, would we put black sand mining at the top of it?
We should not walk that path of saying that we have been suffering from erosion since, like some people will say. I remember going to some coal fire sites and somebody was defending. All along they've not been cleaning the spill sites, they've been flaring gas, and so now that we've gotten where we will get our own living, we do it. We do our own coal fire. You see the excuse? So if others have been doing, if the government have not been, have not put off gas flare, it has not ended, and then they are not doing cleanup, while we are shouting that they should do cleanup, so you say you also add to that problem. That is not logical. The right thing to do is to prevent anything that will, encourage that type of undesirable situation or condition, environmental condition. Apart from that, don't forget, even the lithium that they are mining, like lead mining in Zamfara, we know how many people that died. Some years ago, a lot of people died because of lead poisoning. Even this Nasarawa where they are mining lithium, it is giving them some environmental problem, poisoning their source of drinking water. We know artisanal miners, even in the gold sector, even in Ghana, there was a time this Galamsey, they call it Galamsey, artisanal miners. But as we speak, I just came from Abuja on Thursday, West African countries, Nigeria, we all met, and some persons from Ghana, they were still telling us that because of the artisanal mining and even the real industries, most of their water, they cannot drink water again. Fishes are dying on their own. It's poisoning. Now, if you look at these essential minerals, because as we say, we are shifting away from fossil fuel, maybe we are going to the renewables. People are now discovering more very important minerals, use, and other, industrial use. People are going into them. And that is why these minerals are all important. And as you go into mining them in large quantity, commercial quantity, and even maybe to the point of processing them, the byproducts may result in ways that will poison our people. And we'll leave this to the experts. We'll leave this to the experts. When I read through what Professor Teddy Adias presented, he mentioned some of the hazards. I don't want to begin to on screen here, begin to read the script. Otherwise, in fact, I printed it out before coming, but I don't want to read on screen. We could just indulge you, if it's a minute, since you already printed it out. Okay. We could indulge you. It's best that we know of the consequences of this. Get to the part where it's a lengthy script, yeah. We all get to the part of the consequences and read it out, because biologists are watching, and it's important to get that knowledge out there, so people know that when we indulge, it's the consequences. Like here, he talked about radioactivity. Monazite is one of the elements you find in them. It's naturally radioactive. It contains thorium and uranium, which are naturally occurring radioactive materials. Research published in Science Reports has demonstrated that rutile, zircon, and monazite from black sand mining site carry radioactivity concentration that exceeds the average world safety limits for sand texture materials. Now you are talking about radioactive materials.
These are things that, like uranium is used for making nuclear weapons. Yes,
nuclear weapon, aerospace, all those things, paint manufacturing, quite a lot are involved.
Now there is, you just read this, and then it occurred to me that there is just too many abundant resources the Niger Deltans have been blessed with, and this is yet another one, monazite, you mentioned, within which we have uranium, and this is something that many did not quite think Nigeria has or possesses. A lot of economic opportunities there. Is government looking to tap into it, or does it just stop at placing a ban? What's the next step? I'm asking because I know you are technical advisor to the governor.
Look at what he even made reference to the governor. He said, quoting the governor, we are already suffering from the challenges of oil and gas exploitation, environmental pollution, environmental degradation, and the loss of aquatic resources. We do not want a repeat of that experience through the unregulated mining of black sand. He quoted the governor. Now, the need for regulation is not to deny citizens or investors. The government also needs money, revenue, not only from oil, because oil is a finite resource. Okay.
Now, oil is regulated. Oil mining,
yes,
extraction is regulated. Yet we see this much disaster it causes in the Naija.
You see, the advantage of solid mineral mining is that this is solid mineral. The law between oil mining and solid mineral mining are different. The federal government's act on solid mineral 2007 indicates, and we know, that double standard in this mining sector. When the person who the investor has gotten license to come and operate in your environment, he has to go into agreement with the community on community development matters. The community will place their demand, and it's when they agree that the process will go on. It is not MOU as our people have been writing with oil companies. MOU are just like gentleman agreement that can be discarded at any time. And that's why sometimes we advise our communities, it should be agreement, not MOU. So the Solid Mineral Act stated categorically that it should be an agreement reached between the one who has gotten the license to go and mine with the community. So you see that there are opportunities for the communities too when the time comes. So government has to look into all of this, look at the Nigerian mining, solid mineral mining law. The state government will also look at where it can also come in that our people will benefit, the communities will benefit. So regulating is not bad. Even if your child today now wins billions of dollars, I think you should be able to advise the person, especially if the person doesn't have the capacity to think.
No, comrade, regulating is not bad.
Yes.
At all, it's not bad. Well, the problem now is we live in Nigeria, and I'm sure you also know that it is a country where many have said, and we have evidently seen, that anything can go when certain monetary promises exchange hands.
Yes.
The people who are involved in this, although the locals are involved, but many would say that it is even foreign interests. So they just have basic agreements with the locals who now allow them to go ahead with this mining. These are foreign interests that are ready to at any point do this and give to any other person who is supposed to be supervising them, and then they allow for mining to take place. The question I'm asking here is, in all of these, would we not still see mining that is going to be done without environmental impact assessment?
Very good. Before any investor will go to the field and start operating, the state government's policies will be expected to be adhered to, whereby the community component will be there. The government has said that it will not honor any agreement between communities and any such investor going behind. We have won. The state has won a case that anything on top belongs to the state. Nobody owns natural resources. Nobody is stopping you from going to the bush to go and cut your palm trees and do your palm oil. Nobody is stopping you from going to do your fishing and farming. But when you come to this mining and unregulated timber, logging, then a responsible government needs to do something. I empathize with our community people, because as an environmentalist, if anything happens and we don't speak, they say, Alagwa, don't look the other side, they don't chop money. I never chop money from any community. I never chop money. No community can accuse Alagwa Morris, since I've been doing this work, that I've ate 1 penny from them, that they've sent me 200,000, 100,000, 50,000. I'm boldly saying it here. No community. So, if I look the other side, the highest thing they will say, stomach infrastructure. He has collected money. It's because he's in government, he doesn't want to say anything. No. Wherever I am, the community's environment interests should be protected. Then again, if it is not regulated, like most of the insecurity that is happening, the meeting I went to, the conference I went to in Abuja, all these things came out. Some of the insecurity issues that we are having is because of these mining issues. People are mining very seriously, fine, minerals in the north, Kogi and some other places, and they don't want people to come close. There are places where there are secret airstrips. The foreigners will come, they take and they go. And we don't want our own within our shorelines for people to be armed with gun and then say, no, nobody comes here. And then maybe they turn the gun against even us. Because some persons will come with ship from the Atlantic and then come and collect and go. So, it is better we understand ourselves for the sake of peace and genuinely go about this mining when the window is open and when we know how to go about it. Allow the experts to also advise us that if you do like this, no problem. If you do like this, it will hurt our communities and us.
Okay.
Yes.
As it stands, the window is not open yet, so people cannot legitimately or legally put in to start mining.
Illegal. That's why it is called illegal.
And what I'm saying is the state government has not already finalized modalities as to one who is looking to go into the business properly, to go into the black sand mining business properly.
Yes, I think...
Or can anybody who's looking to mine now immediately approach the state government already and get authorization to do so?
The Commissioner for Commerce and Trade, I think he was on radio this morning saying that government is doing something about investors and the sand mining. I think they are working around the clock to ensure that the window is open as soon as possible and carrying the communities along. Communities should also organize. Sometimes it's not good to just stay far and cry. Organize yourself and come to the relevant office and ask questions. Okay. Why is this happening like this? Why is this thing happening? Government will tell you why things are going that way. Otherwise, this lack of communication will just be making things unpalatable for all of us.
The very week that the state government announced the ban
yes.
on black sand mining, pictures flooded the internet, Facebook particularly. I saw photos, I saw pictures, I beg your pardon, videos, right, of a naval carrier or something, escorting what seemed to be black sand. I'm sure you saw it too, the way you're smiling. You confirmed that you saw it too. I also mentioned foreign interests, and these are people who typically engage these federal security operatives to, perpetuate these illegal mining. Beyond the ban that's been placed, is the state government setting up a task force that will be made up of security agencies as well, that will ensure that stuff of this nature does not happen, that we don't see a foreign interest using another security apparatus to move signs illegally mined? Is it possible? Has the government done anything in that regard? So it goes beyond talk. I know that they also, was it last year or 2 years back when they started talking about indiscriminate logging of wood and felling of woods? At first it was just a talk until I think a task force was set for it. So there's been some sort of improvements now in that regard, But has the state government done anything of that nature? Or are they still on the initial stages of black sand mining has to be a thing?
Talking about foreign investors or foreign interests, for now, I do not have that fact. But whatever be the case, there must be insiders. I saw that boat allegedly carrying black sand and being escorted by gunboats, and it goaded me to make a statement on Facebook. That was in June, and also some persons were arrested. I was also one of those who pleaded that those persons arrested should be released. It's just happening now. They were looking for their daily bread.
They've also been released, I learned.
Yes. So what is there is that there will always be insiders doing that. Trust Nigerian businessmen. Sometimes it's not even, some of those people doing that, and it's not poverty. We have the real cocoa guys that are suffering, that their own is a day, if they are able to load 50 bags and get their 1,000 naira per bag, they will dance, hallelujah. But there are some people who have fat bank accounts, They have hundreds of millions in their account. You can't call those people poor people now. Those are the type of people that are pushing this type of businesses, that will have the audacity to meet military men, meet their oga kwata and then say, I want this, and then maybe the oga kwata will give go ahead, say,
They do this also using the local people who they employ. So that employment, 10-20% for each miner would not be there. That's the ripple effect.
Yes, you cannot because of today. Remember tomorrow. You cannot because of today. The concept of sustainable development is that as you're operating, as you like this thing and you want to take it in a sustainable way, that the man that is the one that is still in the womb will also come and partake in that thing, not to just voraciously finish everything. Like those will tell Pontius Pilate that let it happen, the punishment be on our children, because they want to kill Jesus. No, not like that. Say, let us finish it now. No. If you go to our environment, sometimes some people don't even see monkey anymore. But in those days while we are growing, but before you travel from Port Harcourt to Nembe and Brass, you see the monkeys come and they'll be playing by the bank of the river. Today you don't see them anymore. A lot of things have happened in our environment. So we should not act like the Israelites who say, crucify him and let the punishment be on our children. You now you should receive your punishment. Leave the other people coming to.
Well, it seems as though we are already receiving our consequences for the ones our parents did to us. So we should not be looking to do same to our children if we love them.
Yes, exactly. So let's pray that government's action will be swift enough, will move fast for us to ensure that we look at the pros and the cons, do environmental impact assessment, and ensure the safety of the environment within our communities. Then, with proper investors, they allow the ball to keep rolling.
Okay. Well, as it stands, it's state government that's still doing the advocacy, and they've placed the ban, they're doing the advocacy. Do you see other stakeholders? What other stakeholders do you see trying to also engage the locals and help in promoting this message? And are they doing it, or have they all left it for the state government?
Right now, the situation is a bit tense and dicey. Any person who comes out and say, no dua, you are like an enemy
to the people.
Because you see food that is ready, and the person wants to eat, you say,
no,
don't eat. You know, so most people are looking at it from that angle. So it's few people like us who will say, in the interest of all of us, now so the team view, I support you, say you're supposed to eat that food. But allow them making cold first. We eat and now you get as you go do you. You know, many people don't want to be abused. They don't want to see themselves as sellout. They don't want to be called names. So people have not started going into it. But I think very soon people are going to, like when we were advocating for Fire to be licensed. And some of us started it early on radio, TV, newspaper, even right before former Deputy Governor retired Godwia John Jonah and SLG right in the government house here. Even JTF commander was here. We said it, advocated for it. That do proper feasibility study and allow these people to operate, grant them license. But the powers that be has not consented to that. So whatever I believe in, I will say it. Yeah, provided it is something which is sayable. Yes, but I won't advise people to go against the law. If the law says don't do, but there will always be people to disobey the law. And that's why we have the law enforcement agencies. That's why we have the penitentiaries, the prisons, the correctional centers. And if you say no, you won't agree, then.
Okay.
But I don't want people to go to that extent of say, I no go agree.
Now, talking about the law, it isn't quite stipulated what your fine would be, how whether you go to prison, what the imprisonment terms would look like. It isn't, because it has not gotten to the State Assembly, and the State Assembly has not done anything for it. Do you not think that this is something that the State Assembly should immediately move on and provide a legal framework? Even the issue of indiscriminate felling of woods, the State Assembly is yet to look into it as per way of legislation, and well, pretty soon they will be wrapping up their term in office.
This is another opportunity for me to use the opportunity to advocate for the forestry law that has passed through public hearing to see the light of day. Just as we're advocating for the Bayelsa Directorate for Flood and Erosion Control to have a legal backing. Now, just about a year, a little about a year when Senator Doedri took up the mantle of leadership, he instructed the line ministries to come up with a holistic forestry law. And it's over 3 years, 4 years now, we've not seen that coming to light. And the forestry law is strictly, intricately tied to this very ban on forest product. So I believe it is still in the making, but the earlier it is passed, like you said, very soon now, people will go into campaigning seriously, and then there will be no time for passage of law. So, agreed. They will look at it from the point of law, but then don't forget, when the government say it has banned, executive orders are law. They are to be respected. So when the government has passed that type of instruction to public and you disobey, they cannot look at any other law to say they will use that one to punish you. It depends on the discretion of the judges and the magistrates to say you have faulted the order of the state governor or the state government not to do this, and you have done this, so are you guilty or not guilty? You will answer all those questions, and if you are not so lucky in defending yourself, you go to Okaka. And the Nigerian solid mineral mining law is also there. Before you do, if you are doing artisanal mining without license, without authorization, you will be, sanctioned. So I agree with you. That's why the governor has also asked the Attorney General to look at this, very critically and come up with advice for the government to, take action. And the Commissioner for Environment was also giving some some instruction, the marine and blue economy. Don't forget, they're also talking about establishing a body that will take care of the marine and blue economy, something on the coastline. Yes, so all those will pass through legislation, and I believe something is in the making. Before the bread comes out of the oven, it has to go through processes. Yes.
I am also hopeful that before the bread comes out of the oven, that
you go through
the proper processes,
yes,
the proper processes are being done on it. Thank you so much, Comrade Lago Morris, for really coming in to help scale these matters for us today. Well, the real question still stands. People who are already disengaged from these, what do you advise them? How do they continue with livelihood?
You see, before they banned motorcycle in Yenagua, during Silva's administration, I was one of those in the four shouting that it should not be banned because it will take food away from those cyclists. But at the end of the day, they said bikes should not pass in front of government house. But when Seriaki Dixon came, they banned them. And rain will not fall. Keke is moving now, and then those people who have been going for amputation in the FMC, they are no longer getting people amputated. The complaint then was that people were getting their leg amputated.
Heaven no fall, but 88% of Bayelsans are living in multi-dimensional poverty.
Do you think myself, I have money? Do you think I have money? If
you're better than most persons.
Go and check my account.
So persons are not eating as we speak now.
They are red. My account is red.
Your account is red.
Yes, my account is red. So
some people know their account too.
I am not within that rich line. I'm also within the poverty line. Yes, because one, even if my salary comes today, people who the pressure from people are there. Even today, how many people have reached out to me? I've lost my father-in-law. Please help me with whatever I can. This one want to do marriage. This one want to do naming ceremony. This one want to do like this. Somebody told me these 2 days that he puts his phone off. So if you want to reach him, send him message. Anytime you on it and you see message, you read and then reply, put it off again. Because of the pressure. And if not for this pressure, I wonder what this society will look like. I agree with you. I wake up sometimes in the morning, I also think about my tomorrow. How will it be after this time? So don't see people like us who are talking, encouraging people to be somehow that it is better. No, I agree that the situation is really, really precarious in this country. There is no social security scheme. In some countries, once you get to a certain age, you will be getting social welfare. The unemployed are also taken care of in one way or the other. I know Bayelsa State, there was a time when during the Henry Seriaki Distance administration, even that of the Senator Doyedri's administration, some persons were being paid from above 60 years in our communities, 10,000 per month or 5,000 per month, things like that are being paid. But all this needs to be legislated upon, so that it's not like when the Pharaoh who knows Moses is no more, the other one come and then discard Joseph. Once it is legislated, any governor that comes, the policy is there. It's just to follow. It's a roadmap. So we need this in this society, even in this state, not only in this state, but in entire Nigeria, to lessen this burden.
We have a problem around this side of the world. We have laws, like you mentioned now, that it's just to legislate upon it, especially that allows for money to be sent or stipends to be sent
social
to
welfare.
The elderly, social welfare to the elderly at the end of the month. The next government could just come, and while it's a law, they decide not to vote so much resources, decide not to put anything inside of the budget. There is the Center for Youth Development. I believe there's a Center for Women Development. Go to the budget, you might likely just see 20-30 million naira there, and that's like overhead, nothing more, nothing added. So youth development or women development has nothing.
I agree with you. That's why I say I do not support political party. I support individuals. Doidiri is different from others. There was this pensioners not being paid here, and their pensioners were going on protest, and some were beaten. But immediately Doidiri came in. As a different person, he started clearing the backlog of pensioners' benefits. So it is the individual, even though they were of the same party. Yes. So look at what OT is doing in Abia. There was somebody before him, and today the Abians are singing his praise. So it is the individual, whether the laws are obeyed or not. Once the right person comes, we will ensure that the law is straightened. Yes, so it's better. Law is there to control our activities, put us in line, because without law, we'll go back to jungle life.
Okay, we get back to black sand as we finalize our discourse this afternoon. It has consequences that are dire for us.
Yes.
Black sand mining, illegal black sand mining has consequences that are dire for us. And I had asked earlier if it is not possible that while the black sand mining is ongoing, we still have people who would just pay money and choose to subvert the due process and still put us in the quagmire that we are afraid not to get into now, much like we see in the mining of crude oil and all of those. I'd asked that, but I'd like for you to speak to us on the consequences, so those who are watching, those who are listening would know not to go into this. The consequences of black sand mining, it's erosion, you mentioned, but would like to stretch on this. There is already climate change that's disturbing us and causing flooding and repeated, flooding and erosion. But just broaden it.
Yeah, people are rushing into mining different types of mineral all over the world. And in most places, what causes problem is the mineral resources they have. Congo is an example. A typical example is Congo. Congo is very rich in different types of minerals. And that's why they have conflicts.
They're always fighting.
Seriously, fighting each other to control those resources. Now we are saying that the world is moving away from petrol, related energy. They want to go into the renewables. How do you stay in the renewable world? You need some of these minerals that they are looking for now to ensure that we have long-lasting battery for our phones, for our computers, and then even for the solar energy power that we are enjoying, the street lights, those solar panels. They also need some of these minerals, to empower them, to store the energy. And to get this, if you are not careful, you will endanger your environment, not only from physical conflicts, where you see armed struggle, but you also physically injure your environment, like talking about this radioactivity and other, turbidity that will be affecting the water around that area. So, just like you talk about the food we eat, you have proteinous, you have carbohydrate food, and then the different foods, they all have different minerals, vitamins, and all of that. That is how this black sand contains different, elements that are important to the world, to different industries. Now, it is a natural resource, and government needs to come in to ensure that it is, mined in an appropriate way that will not be harmful and will not cause the type of conflict that we are hearing Sudan, Congo, and even right now in some parts of northern Nigeria. You see, let's continue to enjoy the peace we have. Yes, job loss here and there are there, but then we need to also look at the issue of positive contribution to those who are doing real fishing and farming. They need to be encouraged. If there is an encouragement, like I used to monitor oil spill, some people will tell you that even when government is giving loan, it doesn't come to them. They go and borrow money from us, the cooperatives, buy engine, buy everything, and then they go to this ocean, and then oil spill will come and destroy all those, even destroy their engine. Or even sea pirates sometimes will attack them and take their fish and take their engine. So government needs to bridge that gap to ensure that you encourage, productive fishing, responsible fishing, and also farming. We need to encourage farming too, because a lot of people have run away from even farming. They won't farm, they'll be in the community in the daytime, smoking, drinking. In the night, they will go to people's farm and harvest dozens of plantains that they did not sow. So we need to go back to the drawing board, encourage our people to take to some other means of livelihood. Not only this quick one that as you load 100 bags, you get 100,000 naira. So you will be loading those bags with your shovel, fast to get 100,000 naira a day. That's what they do in some of the areas. They load this black sand. Yes, fast money. Even fire, they say fast money. We should follow the natural way sometimes. This money we are pursuing. You will leave it and go. Let's live our natural life and breathe well, enjoy life rather than hurry. No, it's not good. We have lost quite a lot when you talk about living naturally. Everybody wants it now. No, it's not like that. So there is so much that needs to be done in going back to sensitize our people, talk to our people, not to always be showing films one kind. You are not telling the people that these people you are watching on Z World, their people are also working in the farms. They are working in the poultry, the piggery, and the different types of agriculture that they have in their environment. We should show those documentaries. We should encourage people that in the dignity of labor, you get some kind of satisfaction. You see, so that gradually will bring back peace, genuine peace, not the one controlled by gun. Genuine peace to our environment. We should recognize the place of naturalness. You see, so people who want to do mining, when the time comes, they should work within the confines of the law. Definitely, some will, as we are speaking now, some will be doing it in the night. Some will be patrolling with their boats, loading and taking away only in the nights. Yes, and when they are caught, they are in problem. Just like people who are stealing crude oil. So that is the problem. We can't say these people are stealing black sand, but it's that they are going contrary they are going contrary to the law. Yes, of saying don't do it. It's illegal. Yeah. So I want to use this opportunity to call on our community leaders. If they have any doubt in terms of information, they should approach the Ministry of Information. The commissioner is there. The Office of the Commissioner for Environment is also there, and others. The Trade and Industry Commissioner is also there. Go there and get your information. Ask the necessary questions that you need to ask, so that government will also understand your position, and then help government to arrive at certain decision that will be win-win for all.
I see a sense and reason in the government deciding to do a ban on illegal black sand mining, but I fear that we might not have the wherewithal, we might not know how to properly effect this ban and ensure that it is not done in the dark. For instance, in Nigeria, you're laughing, comrade, but in Nigeria, we struggle with the problem of crude oil theft.
Yes.
It only took the engagement of private security firms, Tantita and the one headed by Matthew Tonlaha, and that of the
Pipeline Infrastructure.
Yeah, Pipeline Infrastructure Limited. Yeah. There's the last one. So it's because we engaged them, we're seeing a reduction in crude oil theft and an upsurge in the barrels we produce per day. Would the state not need to engage firms of this nature that are properly equipped, to be able to effectively tackle? Because I think there is more money in this over the logging of wood, I like to think. So it's technological something, so there's more money in it. So maybe the government needs to take a stronger approach to this than just a normal task force.
If government engages community leadership effectively, if government engages the community leadership from the youth presidency to the paramount ruler or clan head, the monarchs, I think it will be effective. Sometimes it's not always law and order. We should also practice equal rights and justice, not just law. And so when we talk to ourselves, some people say big man talk to big man understand. When we talk to our people and give the real reasons why this shouldn't be for now, I think we will understand ourselves and we go back home and talk to ourselves. If you are still doing it, you are doing it on your own. As a stranger, we find you in our community, what do you come for is for this? No, please, it is not allowed within our territory. That is possible with proper synergy with our community leadership, not excluding the youth leadership. The youth leadership needs to be carried along, because when they understand, and also instead of you to engage some other task force, that money that you use in engaging those task force, give it to the community leadership to do their own monitoring. It will help, rather than getting people from other communities to go to other places to go and monitor. Before you know, there will be shootouts. There will be shootouts. Even this profile that private security people try to stop, right from the time of Dallon Security, led by David Lyon. Yeah, used to be shootouts. You are going to stop some people, before you know, you hear gunshot from the other side. That's why they also go with security people sometimes. You see, so monies meant for, like you suggested, for sending up task force that may also disappoint us. Yes, some task force members can disappoint us.
Absolutely.
Gather the community people, know their challenges, give them some money to do the, if you see something, say something for us. I think that would be better.
Okay, yeah, you're right on that. I couldn't agree more too. But I don't know, I want to say we have a problem again. Our environment, our environment is one that is delicate, really delicate. We've had several campaigns over the years to ensure that, we have a better environment. We tell people, don't throw things in waterways. They need to hear that one. No. Plastic pollution affects us, it's cancerous. They need to hear that one. No. Don't vandalize pipeline. You are doing it at your own detriment. They really concern our people. No. Like, when you tell them that this thing you're doing causes a problem, in the immediate future, a year, 2 years, you're seeing the after effects of it. Climate change is here. We see the flooding is coming. It's coming. Yeah. We see the effects of climate change. Well, it doesn't really enter, because if I still go to my street now, I see somebody who is throwing something on inside of the gutter. You still see. What's the message? How are we going to talk to these people for them to really understand that these things, including black sand mining now, it's a no-go, because it is like you killing yourself a stab at a time.
Yeah. I first started seeing this in Port Harcourt. Whenever it rains, not now, some years ago, you see people run into their houses, bring their refuge basket, dump into the gutter right in front of their house, and then as the thing is going, they are happy. Where is that thing going to? It's going, if at all it will get to the water side, it's going to the waterfront. And then the waterfront become derelicts. In those days when we are going to Okrika waterside, Nimbi waterside, and other places in Port Harcourt to swim, it was clean.
Then there were no much plastic.
There were no plastic, no waterproof set. When
because
you buy
we didn't quite have a number of those products in the market then.
They use paper to wrap granite for you. But with this plastic explosion, everywhere can our waterside, you can no longer bath. So bad.
Can we get biodegradables to wrap products?
Yeah, in
That'd
some
be an
countries,
innovation.
they are working on it. Even here, you know this. What is her name? I've forgotten. Winsome and others. Right now, people are hunting for plastics, the plastic bottles. Even sometimes when you organize program, by the time you are living there, even if it's a marriage party or whatever, you see children, people come and pick up all the. They are struggling to get all the bottles, plastic bottles. That is our savior for now.
That's another business black sand miners can go into.
That is our savior for now. Otherwise, it would have been very, very bad. However, these takeaway packs from eateries and mama puts are using. These are the worst type of waste that you see in the gutters, in the drains, and plastics, cans. You hardly see those plastic bottles again, these water bottles and all of that, because people are hunting for them. Now, like you said, maybe the advocacy, the sensitization is not enough. Some people, they need it again and again for them to be embarrassed. You go to their neighborhoods with megaphone, and then be hollering. Make people know they throw away something for gutter again.
I feel like we did away with megaphones and town criers too early, because our people are still that kind of people.
Yes, we need those type of movements.
Sensitization.
For example, you can start gradually from one community to another around the state capital. Some people will take it to their village. And then you also think of how community people in their own communities will rightly dispose of these same materials. Because if you go to some of our communities that are becoming cosmopolitan, like Brass, Nembe, and Masoma, they are also becoming like this gradually. So how do they dispose of these materials? Experts need to teach them how to do it. Is it to bury? Is it for recycling? I think the Bayelsa state government under the current administration was also thinking about a recycling plant. And if we have that, the number of kilos you bring there, you get something from it. And that's a way of encouraging these people, school children, young persons.
It becomes a business. A lot of persons are looking to go into it. There won't be a problem of waste.
That is it.
They will be dragging for that waste. They'll be dragging for it. It will become a scarce resources that people are
then these people that are owning shop, unfortunately, the days we grew up is quite different from now. We grew up in an era whereby as you come out from your yard, there is enough space where children will play around before the road.
Okay.
People will come out, sit down in front of their yard and be seen looking at the environment. But today, every house facing the road is a store, an office, store. And you don't know strangers coming around. You just say they are customers. So within the neighborhood, sometimes you don't know who is a stranger anymore. That is also a security risk. Now, people who live within the front that has gutter, you see the gutter is clogged with solid waste. And you are waiting for government to come and clean it. Yet we have every last Saturday as sanitation day. No. You need to play roles expected of you, because better soup na money killer. You cannot just be talking, government never do this, government never do that. That small one in front of your store, your barbing saloon, your boutique, your provision store, you've not been able to remove that. No. The bigger gutters, the bigger drains, leave them for government. And even those ones, if you are selling something, you have office within that area, and you are observed to be dumping something in that area, you'll be held responsible. And that is where government needs to take a lead. Because when I post some of these things, I hear people saying, what is the government doing? When government begins to take action, they will say whether we are in the military. But we all have roles to play to ensure that our environment has that aesthetics. When people come in, they say, that place is clean. No, you cannot compare that place to the other place, the other city, and all of that. So we should step up. We should think of us as people with integrity. Your Igbo man no better pass us now in terms of what is under the skin. When I had the opportunity to travel with the governor to Bangkok for the United Nations summit on river deltas. Look at the hotel was just by a river now. I not see one single Kong where they passed there throughout this 1 week that we stayed, and they were enjoying the every evening from 6:30. You see different boats cruising. People are doing party on top, inside. cruising till daybreak, and some of their transporting of materials is through the river. I was staying about 18th floor or thereabout. I was just, sometimes I sleep, I wake up and look at the window, enjoying what is happening. So why is it that these Europeans, these Oyibo people, get that mentality than us? We need to scale up to say, no, we are not dirty. We are not like this. So that importance as a human being, we will give it to ourselves.